calling the meeting to order at 5:32. It is definitely recording. Yes, thank you. All right, roll call. Miriam Plunder here. Megan Richards. Here. Nona Chiarello.
Here.
Teresa Coleman absent. Elisa Lowe with us on Zoom. Dieter Waltz, possibly absent. We'll check. Jörg Zimmermann.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move to oral communications. Does anybody have anything to say that's not on the agenda? Okay, Nona, you're up.
If I may, I'd like to share my screen. See if that'll work. Now that it seems to work again.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay. Do you guys see this image? Okay, do you recognize this image? This is the wedge as seen from Alpine Road in August 22nd. And what you see in the foreground is Detrichia. Okay. This is what that exact same scene looked like. Whoops, it hasn't changed yet. It hasn't updated. There we go. This is what that exact same scene looked like yesterday with all of the Detrichia gone. So one triumph for this committee. Sorry? Well, a lot of communication, but I think it was on tap to begin with. So Stanford did it. Oh, I didn't do it. So Stanford did it. It's the Stanford Portola Terrace, the wedge, and they did it mechanically.
That's great. Well,
Yeah. Yeah,
Thank you.
it looks really good.
we need to stay a little bit further away from the microphones.
Okay.
I think they did something and I can just hear, and there's nothing I can do. So we'll stay further away. I just want to add for the secretary. So we have David so we have Eliza. Hello, Eliza, from the East Coast. We have David Cardinal and Christy Corley on the Zoom. You know, encouraging really helps. I have 3 neighbors who I started with one and then there was like a chain reaction and some of them were pulling it and some would then put Roundup or something. So, and once it's being removed in some way or another that it can't seed, then the next year it's almost gone, if not completely. It's not like prune. Okay. Is there any oral communication from the audience or from Zoom? Nope. Okay, moving rapidly along. Approval of minutes. Did everybody have a chance to look at the beautiful minutes? Thank you very much, Megan. Anything to change? Okay, can I hear a motion?
I moved that we approve the minutes.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye, minutes approved. Okay. Committee business. So I would like to welcome Sarah Gilbert, who applied to be a member of the Conservation Committee. And Nona has met with her and told her about all the things we're doing. Judy and I have met her and told her all the things we're doing, and she still wants to join us. So what I would like to do, could you introduce yourself a little bit to the general membership, but you need to go to the microphone. Yeah.
Do I need to touch?
You do.
And I need just once. And it's on? All right. Yeah, so I'm Sarah Gilbert, and I think I've met almost all of you. I know Yogi quite well. We live in the same neighborhood, and we're both on the landscape committee on Portola Valley Ranch. I've been the chair of it for like a long time. And Yogi's been a member for a number of years now. And so I've learned a lot about the native plants in our area and eager to learn more. I'm sure there's more to be learned. And I see a lot of synergy between what we do with our landscape committee work and what the conservation committee does.
Thank you. Any questions for Sarah? No, well, you want to welcome. Let's see, we have some other committee business to deal with, and that is that next month, our meeting here coincides with the election. And therefore, you saw my email, I suggested that we just go by default to the 4th November, excuse me, the 4th Tuesday, which would be November 25th at 7:30, because at 5:30, we don't know, we might get a problem with the,
7 o'clock, you mean?
I'm sorry,
7 o'clock, you mean?
oh, 7, thank you. Thank you. Teresa is always on top of me. 5:37. And I think I polled you, can everybody make it? You can't. Teresa? Okay. Yes?
No.
No. Okay, I can. I know Judy can. And let's check with Dieter if he can. But he probably can. Hi, Dieter. We'll report you as present. No, that's okay. You want to sit there? And we have a quick question for you, Dieter. Can you make it for it's now a special meeting for November, the 4th November at 7, because the room, the place is not open for us because of the election. Can you? Okay, okay. So then we will have a quorum. Okay, okay. And then in December, we will revert back to the first Tuesday at 5:30, and then it will be in the future the first Tuesday at 5:30.
So Marianne, I'd like to question that just because I'm not certain that, given it's only a week in between, that makes sense to have two meetings that close together. I understand what you're saying, and I'm not trying to be argumentative. I'm just suggesting that's really close together to have meetings.
Yeah, I thought about that too, but there is so much work. We have a new member. So as we have a quorum, and if everybody is happy to come to the December meeting, because historically we didn't have a December meeting because it was at Christmas.
Understood.
And
my
I
only
actually-
suggestion is
Yeah.
maybe let's take a look at, do we have a full agenda? So tentatively.
Oh, we'll have a full agenda. Trust me. Yes, we'll have a full agenda, but thank you. It's a good point. I actually think it's really important that we meet in December. That there's just so much going on, and the year is over. I can't believe the year is over. Okay,
Marian, so will we actually have a quorum? We have 4 here. Do we know if Judy can?
Judy can, yes, I asked her, yes. She's actually on vacation, having a good old time at the moment. Okay, so that's committee business. Then let's move on to old business. We haven't had a chance to do anything on item A, so we'll defer it. Next item is the wildlife corridor fencing ordinance. So we had a milestone last month where we moved it out of committee. That doesn't mean that we are not still working on it. There are some issues with the horse fence, and I have reached out to Teresa. I have reached out to ASCC, and we're going to have a joint subcommittee meeting with us and ASCC to look at the open issues. So what I'm saying is this is a living document, not, we voted to get it out of committee because we have worked on this a year. Can you believe it? We have worked on this for over a year. I think we put in probably 80 to 100 hours from the committee. And the next step is now, we're working with Carter. We'll meet with the subcommittee, and it's going to be Megan and I and Carter and probably Dana Breen. So because, you know, we'll just keep, I think we could have 3. So Judy already said she will step back because we need less in the subcommittee. And then while we're working on the subcommittee, once we're done with that, it will go to full ASCC and we'll see what happens then. And then once it comes out approved of full ASCC, it will go to the Planning Commission. And once it's coming out of the Planning Commission, it will go to Town Council. And then it will go to town staff. They need to have time. So this is going to be a relatively long process. This is not going to happen overnight. And to be proactive, oh, you have a comment?
I think before it goes to full ASCC and Planning Commission, the staff will be involved because they'll need to write a report.
Thank you. Oh, that's great. That's great. And so while this is going its merry way, and it's a living document, we are going, the subcommittee is going to work on, I don't know if you remember Nancy Ryerling's wildlife friendly fencing document, which everybody has, which I think, correct me if I'm wrong, will be the base. So we can use it. We got the permission to use it from Woodside and from Nancy. It's going to be the basis for the guidelines. Because if you look into that document, you can see they are referring to ordinances in Woodside. So we can do the same at some point in time. We can put in the diagrams, which I can't see you. Sorry. So yes, Irene, she's out of my, we'll put in the diagrams. I think we're going to put in some photos of suggested wildlife friendly fencing. So we're building the guidelines and we will do some outreach and education to the public while this is all going, hopefully, its merry way, so that we have everybody in our court eventually. So that's the goal. Any comments on that course of action?
I have a few thoughts on bringing it to ASCC and just sort of rethinking some aspects of what we've done, but I don't want to open a can of worms right now. So if this is not the time to sort of share some additional thoughts, I won't.
No, go ahead.
So I think that the two of the issues that were not resolved in the past were horse fences and also sort of the pulling in from the property line. And so I've thought more about horse fences and the number of properties that have horses. And just wondering if there isn't a compromise that we might consider where properties that actually have horses have some exemption from the rules as they're stated, because horses are special and there aren't that many of them in town. But secondly, I really looked at some 3-rail split rail fences, and they don't comply with the criteria for a wildlife friendly fence because they don't have 16 inches of clearance from the ground to the lowest rail. But they have 10 or 11 inches, the ones I've seen. And then there's 11 or 12 inches between the low rail and the middle rail. And the more I looked at them, the more I thought, well, quail can go under the low rail and fawns can go through the gap between the low rail and the middle rail. And so I'm wondering if we should view that as itself an exception to the 16 inches of clearance from the ground. I think that would address, I hope it would address Teresa's concerns, which are likely shared by other people who have horses. Just a thought.
Yeah, thank you. I think as you see, this is a work in progress, but I think that's a good compromise, and there will be compromises, obviously. Did you have no, okay. All right, any other questions on that? Let me see, let me look at my notes if there was anything else. No, that's it. Then let's go to the next point. Tip of the month. So I need help with last month's tip of the month, which was supposed to be nesting and tree trimming. And I thought about it and I started writing it, and it was so boring, I didn't post it. Who could help me with that to make this into something more? I tried, I tried ChatGPT. Can you help me? Okay, so we'll just do that. And, oh, Dieter, you had some thoughts.
For the pickleball court? Okay.
This was the tip of the month. You know, like you can cut your trees now because the birds are not nesting. That's what we're doing. So let's you and I work. Okay, thank you. And then next point is what's blooming now. First of all, I want to thank Nona. She did a terrific what's blooming now. You don't know that. She actually volunteered, and she was writing it, what was it called? The tar weeds. And it's so beautiful. I mean, I am starting to work with Acrobat, but my stuff isn't coming out so well as your stuff. So the question is now, what's blooming now? Is anything blooming? What? Same.
Yeah, he feels how we do that.
Well, okay.
And also, this is a banner year.
Microphone.
This is a banner year for the.
Okay, native fuchsia. Okay.
Didn't you do native?
Didn't we do that
fuchsia?
2 months ago?
We just did it. It just posted. I mean, it was.
Oh, that's right.
gorgeous.
It just posted. That's right. We did that. Yeah, that's the one you did. No, that's the one I did. Okay. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. That's actually a beautiful one too. Yeah. Okay. All right. So that just posted, and that posted in the newsletter, and I'll just put it out on the forum again. Can't hurt. Then we don't have to do a new one. No?
I think you did it on form.
Did I? No, I didn't. I was holding it
It
back
was it was on the forum because the newsletter's on the
because of Elizabeth.
And so-
Yeah, yeah.
and it was lovely.
It was absolutely gorgeous. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. So that's that then. And I have an update on the what's blooming now generally. I reached, because I looked at the website. I've been looking at that for months. And the way it's set up is what's blooming now on the town website is the latest month. And that's it. There is nothing behind it. And when I reached out to Elizabeth, she told me that that's what Catherine had asked her to do. I have a little bit of a different idea. I would like to have it like a calendar, because people really appreciate what's blooming now. And so if we have it in the form of calendars, January, February, then it's more useful than if you only have the current month. And I also reached out to Corey and to Darcy, and the town is in support. The articles, I did a search, the articles are sitting somewhere on the website. There's something under sustainability, they are somewhere. And we will need those because we don't have these articles. We don't have them. I looked on the Google, they're not on the Google Drive. So I'll work with Elizabeth, and she's very cooperative, but it will take time. It's not a top priority, and that's good because we're going, well, no, actually it's not so good because people should be planting soon. But anyway, I'm at it, and the idea is then to have a really nice calendar where people can go on the website and then they can see. And there will be obviously multiple plans for September or multiple plans for a month. And we'll just organize it. Yes, Teresa.
So can I just paraphrase what I think you said to make sure that we all are understanding? I think what you said, which we've actually talked about before, is looking back historically and pulling those historical What's Blooming Now articles, consolidating them, not reinventing the wheel, but bringing them forward and putting them in a calendar type format that cycles from year to year so that those already prepared, very nice documents can be refreshed and reposted.
So I don't know how it actually will work, but the idea is that all the September will be in, yeah. How this actually will work on the website, I don't know yet. So yes, thank you for rephrasing, for clarifying.
So presumably you're going to continue to add new ones too as well.
Yes, we're adding new ones. Yes. Sometimes we are repeating old ones too. Yeah. So it's growing, and it's something that's really valuable to the residents who want to do who want to put in native plants. All right. So the next one is the owl box placement. Hey, Eliza. So Eliza wrote the article, and then I was doing a little bit of editing. Dieter was helping with some comment. All the photos are from Eliza, and I changed a little bit the format to our normal format, and I hope that's okay, Eliza. I send it to all of you. Did you read it, and do you have any changes, because it's now ready to go into the next town newsletter? Or would you like to look at it one more day and send me some comments so we're sure this is all good? Or are you all happy?
I missed that email. I haven't had a chance to review it, so I would like to.
Could you look
On
at it
tomorrow?
maybe tonight or
Yeah.
something? Okay.
But Mariana, I'm confused because when you say you sent it to all of us, are you saying it was included in the agenda packet? Because you didn't send it. I don't recall receiving anything specifically. I see there's something in our agenda packet, which I thought we'd actually covered last month.
It has changed. It's the latest version in the agenda packet.
What's in the agenda packet?
Yes.
Okay.
So maybe you want to look at it too?
I thought this was part of the minutes.
Ah,
I thought this was part of the minutes. It
Okay.
Didn't, so I
just look at it.
didn't understand.
I think if Megan looks at it, I feel perfectly fine that the content is good. Like our lawyer, not that she's a lawyer, but she's our expert, or one of our experts. And I just want to thank Eliza. Although Eliza is physically not present, she is very present, and it's really delightful. She's very responsive on email, so yay for technology. And it's great that you're here today. So next month, we'll miss you, but then in December, we'll see you again. All right. Then item G, the Rat Poison Free Portola Valley Initiative. So I had a brief conversation with Rebecca, and Rebecca was updating me, and Rebecca, correct me if you want to add anything, that to have an ordinance on that is not a priority with the town at the moment because of what else they have on their schedule. So what Rebecca suggested that because it's an important topic, you see it on the PB forum, that we make it a focus on outreach and education with the residents. And for that, I would like to mention that Sarah actually at the ranch was, I think, instrumental to make the ranch rat poison free in 2017. Is that correct? Yeah, something like that.
It was our
Okay, yeah. But you have knowledge, right? Yeah. So what I would suggest that, so Nona is already, Nona is on the subcommittee and has a lot of knowledge. Eliza is helping, has a lot of knowledge and a lot of passion. So I would like to step back from the subcommittee and I would like to ask Sarah to step in. And then is that everybody happy with that? And then, you know, you decide who is the leading member, and then you can take it for your first meeting, and maybe in January, bring your first ideas. And in the meantime, what I would like to do, because we have the information, so we're just putting out the article on the Owl Box. I would like to do the next newsletter, an article on trapping. Is that something you can do?
So actually, I didn't know that was going to be on the agenda, but I did actually just update the trap matrix that we made a few years ago. I updated it, I guess, for the mountain lion talk that we had, but then I saw the PV Forum posting from PV Hardware about the gopher hawk trap. And I've looked into it, and I think it's really worth adding to our trap matrix and maybe replacing the CO2 trap that we used to have on it, which costs $200. And I suspect people aren't buying that one. So it looks quite good. And so, so that's updated. We could share that.
Okay, so can you run with it and write something so that it goes in the next newsletter, which is always sort of at the beginning. So it will be the beginning of December. Because the Owl Box goes into the next newsletter.
Okay, yeah. I
So
mean,
it would be a
the
nice follow-up.
subcommittee is now Sarah.
Sarah, you and Eliza.
Okay.
And don't hesitate to ask Eliza. She'll.
Yeah, I'm happy to help with
very
that.
cooperative.
And I'm so sorry, I have to go because my Wi-Fi shuts off at 9 because I'm at an environmental boarding school. But thank you so much, and I'm happy to help with the Rodenticide subcommittee or anything I can do to be helpful. Thank you.
Oh, was that a comment? Okay, so there is a comment from Christy. Christy, I can't unmute you.
Okay, can you hear me?
There she is. Okay.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to make sure when I was reading the information on the animal fence that the lower rung at 16 or whatever Nona said would have no barbed wire on it. And I don't see that written anywhere. Usually the lower rung is not going to have anything that would injure an animal. Can we be more descriptive there?
We'll take it down and the subcommittee can work this in next time.
Yeah, I think
Okay,
I've sent
because we're
some
past
pictures
that
and,
agenda item, Christy. but
yeah, but you're
we
not
take your
opening it.
input.
Yeah, you're not opening it up for the public after each agenda item. I would just
Yeah.
encourage, I didn't want to interrupt you. Thank you.
No, that's fine. The
Okay.
other thing is, Christy, so that you know, we have actually discussed in the subcommittee if we should put in a whole section of no barbed wire allowed, but we don't know yet if that is feasible.
Yeah, I've researched it a bit and there are some really nice drawings of how to do it and
Okay.
visual examples. So,
Okay, so Christy,
Okay.
can you send me those in an email and we'll look
Sure.
at them? Okay,
Sure.
thank you.
Thank you. Okay, bye-bye. We cannot hear.
David, can you speak?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I thought we'd already prohibited all barbed wire, period. And if we haven't, we should. If you look over by Corte Madera, like that old barbed wire fence, animals get caught running through the middle of it. And dogs can too, people's dogs. So
Okay,
I,
okay.
I,
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
okay, you're welcome.
So we're done with the rat poison. We have a consensus there. All right, and let's go to H, the Wildlife Inventory Project, which has been on the agenda now twice, but we have referred it due to all sorts of reasons. So let me start from the beginning, because you probably still think, what is this? So the idea came about 2 or 3 months ago that, for example, I have owls hooting and owls screeching and woodpeckers, whatever they are doing. And I would actually like to know who else has these in their backyard and where are they and where are they migrating? Maybe they're moving around. So the idea was born that we could drive a project that would include the whole community. What's in your backyard? What birds do you have? Do you have mountain lions? Do you have whatever coyotes? What plants do you have? And I ran it by Darcy, our town manager, and she thought that was a great idea. She even said she would give us she would support us if we needed an intern. We might not need an intern. The idea was for an app, an intern, but Nona educated me that we have iNaturalist. Oh, Naturalist, sorry, not iNaturalist, iPhone, iNaturalist, which would do the job. So the idea is we would have an app and the whole community can get involved. And then we would, at the end of the day, know what's going on in town, where are the animals? Are they migrating? What sort of backyard is a better, is more suitable? And if you want more owls, you can actually come to me because I have a lot of owls. I can share a lot why I have owls. And so we thought this was a really good idea and it will take time. And so I want to bring it up now for discussion, what everybody thinks.
So it sounds like this would be kind of a bio blitz. Are we trying to get one snapshot of time, or is this something that we want to be ongoing?
To be determined. Don't know. From a gut feeling, I would say maybe ongoing would be good, but maybe not sustainable. What do you think?
I think the first step is to see what iNaturalist already has for Portola Valley. I mean, it'd be interesting to just.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it's all spatial, so just bring it up.
Okay. Go overboard with your enthusiasm. I know.
I just think we do a lot already, so I don't propose that we do something big and new, that this exists. And if someone would like to summarize it or say, wow, did you know that? I
Okay.
think that would be great, but trying to undertake a big new project doesn't really seem
Don't
like
want-
we
okay.
have the bandwidth right.
All right. Then how about Eliza and I just look at the iNaturalist and see what's going on. I think she had to leave. She has to go to bed. Yeah. So I'll take the action item. I'll work with Eliza. Anybody else? Dieter, would you be interested in looking at this as you have them all? Okay.
The golden found sparrows just
Okay.
migrated
Okay.
in for the
So
season.
would you like to join the subcommittee? Okay, but we'll make it on, at the moment, low cooking so that the committee doesn't get overburdened. And I don't want to get overburdened either because I don't want to burn out either. I understand burnout. But on the other hand, I think it was my idea. I think it's such a great idea. So I'm not inclined to completely give up. Okay, so that's that project. And then let's go to committee cooperation, Frog Pond.
Nothing new to report.
Okay. Public Works, I'll give you an update. Judy and I met with Darcy, the town manager, and Robert Britt, the new public
There.
the town engineer, the new, the new Howard, I tried to say. And what is going to change, and we're in support of that, while in the past, you know, we were sort of more informally working with Howard because we knew, you know, we knew each other for 30 years, what have you. So Robert would like a more structured, planned communication, which is perfectly fine, which will include something like reports. I don't think we're at the point where we can do monthly reports, but we certainly could do a quarterly report looking forward. I'll be with you in a moment. What the Conservation Committee would like and expect Public Works to do. And Robert also said if we could help him suggest contractors like for weeding or so, because he doesn't really know those. And Judy and I said, we can do that. Yes, you have a question.
Who is Robert and what is his full name and what is his position?
Robert Bird, town engineer.
So he's the new planning person?
No, he's the new Howard, the new Public Works person.
No, Howard.
Excuse me, Howard Young, the new Public Works person.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
sure.
Question, will that also work in return that they inform us when they plan to do certain work? Because we haven't gotten many notices for the Frog Pond other activities. So I would like to see it going both ways.
Okay, okay. Let me make a note of that. Good point.
I'm gonna break in because it doesn't
Robert
seem like
is
there's a
here?
lot of interest. No, I'm David.
Oh, David, sorry.
I know there's a big audience, but it doesn't seem like there's a lot of concern for actually listening to other people on these issues as you rush by them. I've had my hand up to talk about the unnaturalist thing. So I'm happy to check out. So go for it.
Okay. I guess we upset David.
Yeah, I think maybe we should just let the audience know that it's difficult to run the meeting and see all the hands that are
I
raised.
can't
so-
see that. Yeah, I can't see the hands.
Well,
can
would
somebody
you
watch the
like
hand?
us, I could just butt in. I attend a lot of committee meetings and in most of them, it's not rocket science. So I don't know, I'm happy to chime in or whatever, but there's not, like Christie said, I mean, there's not really been an opportunity for anybody else to comment on anything that you're doing, which is okay by me if you don't care. It's your committee.
Okay, we will have one person who is looking for the hands and then that will solve the problem, David. Okay?
Great. So I'd like to raise my hand and say that I think iNaturalist may be a great platform, but I think as a starter project, you could take on something like amplifying the backyard bird watch, which is already marketed to 100 million people every year and would cover birds more or less. So I think you could start smaller, amplifying something that's there, that's going to succeed no matter what you do. So you're not going to fail. And then if there's enough interest in all, I think you can amplify that because mammals are 100 times harder to track. Everybody sees birds. They know birds. Cornell has tons of resources. But if you get into like who sees a mountain lion, you know, that's a pretty tricky deal. So that would be my suggestion on that topic.
Thank you. Say that again. But what's the application? What's the app called?
Oh, it's a huge program, the Cornell Backyard Bird Watch. And there's lots of apps like in iBird or Merlin that feed into it. And it's probably the largest single public backyard science about birds. And it happens once a year. I think it's February something, I forget. And just promoting something like that. And then people can see what happens in their neighborhood, and we already have a lot of people who participate. That's not I mean, there might be a different program, but I would build on something that already has a huge critical mass and amplify it before I got too fancy, because we have a lot of things people want in Portola Valley and never do. Witness the, massive attendance at this meeting, right? I mean, people all think it's a great idea, but it doesn't mean it's harder than it seems, I think, to get people to actually download an app and do something. So I'm just saying I would start small and build on that success.
That's really helpful. Thank you, David. I really appreciate that.
Welcome. Great.
And we
Okay.
highly value your input. Don't get me wrong. You can't see me. The problem is that I am looking to the right and my screen is to my left. So this is nothing
okay.
personal.
Okay, well, that's good to
Okay.
know.
Thank
So
you.
whatever the structure is for that, I'm happy to go with it, but I think, there are some, never mind. I think we're fine. Great.
Okay. I will remember the structure. All right.
May I jump in?
Yes,
since you
please.
skipped me. Just a reminder that in order to provide Robert what he needs for the coming year, everybody has to look at their assigned open space and decide what the maintenance needs are for the coming year. And we need that probably by the next meeting or the one after. So depending on whether we have a meeting in December.
Where is the list of the assigned open space? Who has that?
It's been in the
It's
agenda.
just subcommittees, Marianne.
It's the
like-
subcommittees. Okay, got it.
Before we leave open space, can I just make a really quick update? Not specifically on the agenda, but I did go down to Dorothy Ford Park and I pulled a garbage can full of Detrichia. And then I proceeded to pull a garbage can full of yellow star thistle, but I stopped because it was absolutely teeming with bees and butterflies. And I just couldn't bring myself to pull 100% of it. But I hopefully got all of the Detrichia.
One is left. I saw it today.
Well, maybe you could pull it.
I'll pull it.
I did a garbage can. You can
Yes.
pull one.
Thank you, Teresa. Thank you so much.
And that also reminded me that what's blooming now is Chilean aster, Symphaea trichon. I've been seeing birds and butterflies and bees all over in my yard.
Then there's some spectacular examples right in our town garden, right out here.
Okay.
Have we ever done that one?
No. Maybe we could do it together. Okay, okay. All right. As we're jumping around, I would like to make one comment on the frog pond. I took pictures of, no, not the frog pond, sorry, of the Springdown pond. Are we getting there to Springdown? No. We have to do something with that pond. Can somebody go and look? It is choked of I don't know what, but it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. It's full of stuff. Okay, if you could take a look. I have pictures and I can send those around. And as we soon have a meeting again, we can address it then. And if it needs certain work, let's suggest it, write it up for Robert and then hopefully they can schedule something. All right, let's stick here. Trails and paths.
Haven't met
Okay,
with our new schedule.
okay. Wildfire preparedness. Nothing has happened since the last time, but I want to bring up one issue possibly, and that's, as you know, they have those the flammable 5. And we had a discussion about Theodore cedars. Are Theodore cedars, are they a potential flammable 6? Okay, if they would be a flammable 6, can we somehow make a recommendation? And then it could be taken to the wildfire committee, and I'm sure they'll add it. You want to think about it, and we'll have a recommendation for the next meeting?
So we want to recommend to the Wildfire Preparedness Committee that deodar cedars are flammable.
That it would be a flammable 6, if that is what we
I
say.
don't think that we'll add it, we won't add it to the group of the flammable 5.
No,
But it is a flammable.
it is flammable. Okay. Is it something, are planting that tree? We see it. People are buying those and they're planting them. How big an issue is that?
It's a big issue because they get very, very low. They have wind right there. And they are native to the Himalaya and shouldn't be here.
Should they be then on our do not plant list?
So I haven't personally seen new deodar cedars going in, but there are other similar conifers that could be confused for it also. So I wonder if we're talking more generally about conifers in the landscape.
Yeah, I thought the guidance was to not plant conifers.
So interesting. So maybe, okay, I will mention it to the wildfire committee. Maybe they want to run with it because people are planting it.
Yeah,
So people don't know.
Just to follow up on wildfire committee, since I was designated the representative at the last meeting, I have talked to MJ. The time of the end day for the meetings isn't definite yet. MJ, who will be the chair, would actually really like to see someone else from conservation join that committee, just because Marion and I have both done it. So I don't know if Sarah's an option or another new member, or if they end up not doing it on Monday mornings at 9 a.m., maybe someone would be interested. So
Sarah would.
they would just really like to make sure that there's a good connection, multiple connections to our committee. But
you think about it. Okay, so we'll think about it, but while we're thinking about it, as long as it is at the old time, I can still go if you want me to, or do you want to take it over?
you're welcome to keep it.
Okay, I'll keep it for 1 more month. I think she's going to, I know that the next meeting is at the old time. I assume in the next meeting, it will be decided to be on Monday at 9 or something. And then while we're still thinking, you go, because we don't have anybody else, and it's really crucial that it's required. It's in their, what do you call it? When the committee was designed, it said one charter, one member of the conservation committee is one.
So it's crucial for them, but it's not crucial for us. It's not our charter. And I'm not trying to downplay anything, but I'm a little sensitive to someone writing in their charter that we have to do something for them.
That's not how I see it. I
Okay,
actually,
that's fine. I really don't want to go.
I
down that
see
road,
because
but-
they are doing vegetation management, I think it's good for the conservation committee to be on there because we can help them a lot. Yeah. Okay. Anything else you have? Okay. Yes.
So the number is no longer 5 anyway, because the fire marshal added bamboo into the list. So it would be good, I think, because these numbers seem to be spreading. I see articles about you shouldn't have rosemary, you shouldn't have lavender. I think the Conservation Committee and the Wildfire Preparedness Committee would be really helpful if they created a bigger list of what things you don't want from a fire perspective.
Yeah, that brings up
point that generally we only talk about natives. So we give guidance, although I have to admit that Theodore, I brought it up myself because it's okay, don't worry. I'm a foreigner, I can say that. So, but generally when we as a committee make a recommendation, it has to do with native plants.
But, okay, but I think that there ought to be some collaboration between the Conservation Committee. I think there are many more plants that, however, I guess Conservation Committee, I think of as the plant experts, and the wildfire people aren't plant experts, so there are some plants that are very, very common around here that are fire problem. And it seems that even if they're not natives, that between the two committees, they could come up with a list to suggest, so that as non-experts like me are trying to put together a list for our community of recommendations of what you should plant besides natives. Not everybody wants just natives. But how do we make sure that those are the appropriate things from a horticulture perspective?
I think the fact that Marianne brought this up attests to the fact that we do like to be the plant people committee and that we have a hard time restraining ourselves sometimes. I think we try, and Nona brought this up earlier, and just in how often we can stretch ourselves a little thin and start to creep beyond our borders, that we try to rein ourselves into what's really our responsibility. So I think we've touched on it with our plant list. We have a list of encouraged and discouraged plants, and that includes some fire hazard ratings. But I think in general, we aren't the fire experts, so we defer to the expertise of the fire marshal and the wildfire preparedness.
And just want to say the plant list is publicly on the town our page of the town website. It's been up there for a long while, so. As hopefully a useful resource, hopefully, that was the
Oh.
intent.
Our emphasis of plants not to plant has historically been not so much influenced by fire danger, but by invasiveness of non-native species.
So I think we will try to address it where it makes sense, but not go out of our way to include other plants.
I agree with the invasiveness, and I mean, I'm quite astounded at what Ladera recommended to us to plant recently, which was apparently highly invasive, but I'll look at your plant list again and see if that accomplishes what we need. Thank you.
I can just add that there are plant lists like that around. So Marin County has some really good plant lists for things not to plant because they're not fire safe, but not necessarily native either. So what we might do is just provide some links on our website of other places that have those lists.
That would be helpful, yeah. Okay, there's a hand up, but I don't know whose hand it is. Can somebody see whose hand this is?
Oh, that's Dave Cardinal again.
Dave? Dave, are you having your hand up? I don't think so.
No,
It would be here. You see,
well, that's the schoolhouse.
the schoolhouse has the hand up, okay.
I will take this opportunity though, since I'm on the chat, that for residential use, barbed wire is already illegal in this area.
Oh, good.
So unless you're an agricultural property, which I don't think we have any operating horse or cattle ranches here, it's already illegal to use, period. So I don't think we need to go out of our way, although it would be extra helpful to point out how bad it is, just in case someone gets confused. So,
Oh, that's
but
good
yes,
news.
yeah, there you go. So
Okay, thank you, Dave. All right. The other thing is what I would like to mention regarding the Wildfire Preparedness Committee, because MJ is probably reaching out to you. She was reaching out to me asking what should they be taking on? And one of the things I was thinking is they could engage with Windy Hill. And the reason why I'm saying this, when I look at Huddard in Woodside, when I look at Huddard and at Wunderlich, which is a county, they are doing diligent vegetation management, very environmentally friendly, very well done. I'm sure it costs a lot of money. It's Woodside. They have, to protect the Woodside people. And so we have Windy Hill with Mid-Penn, and we are not protected. I mean, this is chock full with whatever there is. So I might suggest that to MJ if she wants, no, actually, I did mention it to her, if she wants to look into that. This is just to finish off, though. This has nothing to do with us per se. But I think logically it would make a lot of sense if we don't have to worry about a wildfire coming in from and Mid-Penn has a lot of money. I mean, we pay taxes for that.
They also have an extensive vegetation management plan for all their properties. So
Right.
that should be referenced as we try to
Yeah,
navigate.
but
and
I don't see Windy Hill on there since they did the Sequoia stuff, which was very minor. But all the real stuff up on the hill, I don't see anything in their board meetings or anything. I see they do something on Page Mill Road, but I don't see anything here. Now, I might not have seen all of it, but I haven't seen since the Sequoia work. Yes.
I've actually seen quite a bit on Windy Hill.
You did?
While I hike up there, of the fuel reduction. They've done a huge amount. Let's see, so it's the trail that's probably Spring Ridge as it makes that corner and going up. They've done a huge amount
Oh,
of
good.
clearing there of coyote brush.
They did.
And then further up, they have various places that they've done this, I think they call it disking, where they do these wide swaths of no vegetation.
Oh, that's good news.
So it seems like they've done quite a bit from my perspective. I'm not sure what areas you're worried about.
The top, all the coyote brush.
At the top of Windy Hill?
Yeah. They talked about maybe having goats up there eating. Now it's too late now. It's too, that whole coyote brush this was not there 20 years ago.
Okay, so yeah, I haven't noticed any extensive work up there. I
No.
think there was a project that went along Skyline, but I can't remember if it encompassed.
They did
part of-
something on Sky. Yeah, it's just, it is poignant when I, walk through Huddard and when I walk through Wunderlich and when I walk through Windy Hill. They must spend millions of dollars in the Woodside area to clear this out. And Windy Hill has power lines. That's PG&E. It just, we don't have to spend too much time on this. But I would feel more comfortable if like the wildfire would look into it. And maybe they can, liaise with you and you can tell them what work they have done. I'm always worried about Windy Hill.
Yeah, because I have seen quite a bit.
That's
actually.
good. Okay,
The closer that you are to homes, the more you should be worried about the area.
that's right.
Further away is less concern.
Well, but if you have a firestorm, as we know, it flies and it flies far. Okay, I'll stop.
Just we get
Yes,
back on
yes, thank
our
you.
agenda.
Okay, let's get,
Sorry.
thank you. Thank you very much. Teresa keeps us always on. ASCC, nothing to report. They haven't met. And Woodside Fire, the video of our joint event is now in Nona's hands. The fire marshal lost her video editor, so Nona volunteered to do that. It's, by the way, it's chocolate from the car, I'm sorry. And so Nona is going to work on that. Thank you very much. And then when it's done, it will go on the website, on the town website, and on the Woodside Fire. And of course, the fire marshal is really happy that we're taking this off her to-do list. All right. Just a quick update. There's really not much to say. The new business, the Parks and Recs came to us and asked us if we could look at 3 trees around the pickleball courts, because there are a lot of leaves going down, falling down, and one tree is overhanging. So Nona, Dieter, and I were out there and we looked at it and we made a recommendation. And it will go its merry way. I don't think we need to go into details. There's, yeah, it's nothing controversial or anything.
Are we on the oak tree planting topic?
Oh,
What,
no, I am at J, tree leaves debris pickleball court. You don't have J? I must have taken it off.
It's not on our agenda.
What am I looking at?
I don't know.
Oh, sorry.
So it says oak tree planting.
Okay, so I'm good. Oak tree planting recommendations. So what we noticed at ASCC meetings and at site visits, that we are missing an objective sort of template that can be used across the board for every resident. What should they do exactly if they have taken a tree out, they shouldn't have taken out, they need to plant again. We recommend small trees. Other people recommend big trees. So the idea is, because this is really our job, that, and it's not going to be that much work, that we develop just objective criteria. You know, when you replant or plant an oak tree, how big should it be? Roughly in what area? Not that we say it has to be, but you know, should it be whatever? So I would like to do that, but I would want to bring it up for discussion if there is interest to do that.
So I think there's been a little I've been a little bit confused in some of the site plans I've reviewed by some of the comments that have been in arborist reports about the fact that there's a requirement to replace any significant trees that are being removed with a I don't remember what the language is, but something that would imply that it was potentially a larger, similar type tree somewhere. And whereas sometimes what we see is that given the nature of the plans, there really isn't maybe necessarily a likely place for that. Or again, we always recommend smaller so that they're more viable, et cetera. Is that what we're talking about?
Yes, that's what we're talking about.
That we would like to have something that-
Guidelines.
some sort of a guideline similar to in feeling to what the Redwood guidelines?
Yes, but way less work.
Yeah, just okay. I support us considering that. I would ask though, if there actually are ordinances or something that are in effect that say you must do, it would be useful for us to understand what those are, so that I don't know. that there
I
are.
haven't seen that. That's why I'm bringing it up, because to some degree, sometimes the ASCC and the Conservation Committee are not on the same page, and we should be. And that's why I thought it would be a good idea to develop those guidelines, and they can then be for the residents, for the town staff, for ASCC. And obviously, we'll bring it to ASCC, and they need to agree to it. But there shouldn't be a competition that we say small trees and ASCC says big trees.
So I would just ask the question then, if we are seeing that sometimes we don't seem to have quite the same objective, is there a way we could just open a conversation initially, find out why that is? Is there something that ASCC has traditionally taken a certain position on that maybe isn't quite where we are? I just want to make sure before we develop another guideline that we understand how it can be most useful and satisfy whatever need or criterion.
Okay, and other comments?
A few of us, this did come up not that long ago, just the topic of replanting in a space where you may have a very dense oak canopy and it really doesn't make sense to replant. And I wonder if, in the spirit of looking at what the requirements currently are, if there should be an allowance for, maybe it's our committee, maybe, I'm not sure who makes the determination, maybe it's an arborist's recommendation, of whether it actually makes sense to replant the oak or whether there's already a contiguous canopy and a new oak is not necessary as kind of, there's a word for it that escaping me, but that it's not viable, and that sometimes by removing a tree, you're not really even removing significant canopy because it's so intermeshed with other neighboring trees.
Okay.
So I think it's in the code, municipal code, that you have to replant if you take out a significant tree. Personally, I think there are places in town that have too many trees, so I think it's not necessarily, I mean, that would suggest the code should change if it's actually not required anymore, or if it shouldn't be required anymore.
Yeah, I don't have the answer. We had one meeting, one side meeting where ASCC wanted to put in, and that person hadn't even done anything wrong. I mean, that property had not taken out a tree illegally, but it had opened up something so that another neighbor was seeing more than they wanted. And then ASCC actually suggested two, I don't know, trees like that. You remember, you were there. And so Dieter and I were there, and we were pushing for the smaller trees because Dieter said, if you put in a big tree, they're going to get stressed and they're going to die. So that's what was the precursor for this. And so what I was thinking, I don't think it would be that much work. Just what we usually say, basically, if we just put it in a simple document. Because we had another thing with ASCC where there were a lot of little trees amongst bigger trees, and that property development was almost stopped by the ASCC at that point in time at the hearing, because we allowed them to take out the little trees. So there is confusion, and confusion is not good. So that's where I'm coming from.
I think there are two issues here. One is, do you have to replace a tree that is a significant tree that's removed? And if you plant for whatever reason as a replacement or de novo, how do you plant and what size do you plant? So those are really two separate things. That's all.
Okay. So what's the recommendation? We don't touch it, or?
Historically, we have taken both positions. If a significant tree or more than one had to be removed because of what the property owner wanted to do with the land. If there were lots of trees, like lots of coastline folks, then we just told them, go do it. And we didn't ask for any replacement. But in a few places, they have specifically asked, we said, we would like to help you here with this problem, but there is lots of room here, and it might be nice if you, since this particular species of oak specifically does well there, if you replace with another tree up the hill a ways.
Right. And we do that, but it's not a formal, it's not this.
I understand. It's not anything formal. It sort of assumes a certain amount of give and take between the home ownership on one side and the town on the other side.
No, I understand that. I understand that. I fully agree with that. But we should have a similar guidance every time, every time. You have some ideas?
Yeah, I don't know all the regulations for significant trees, but I just pulled it up. One section of our code, and typical of most of our code, it's frankly hard to understand and in my mind somewhat poorly written, but it says the following provisions shall be adhered to. Following protections are required, for significant trees, soil erosion control, and then C says replacement of trees removed with other trees on the native plant list as near as possible to the original location unless practical reasons preclude the option. So again, to me, that's unbelievably vague. Who is going to decide on the practical reasons? Is it going to go to the Conservation Committee to decide that? It doesn't say which trees that have been removed should be replaced. These are all details that I think it would be vague for the Conservation Committee to consider. In addition to the idea that, we shouldn't be planting 36-inch box trees that aren't going to survive and shouldn't be any bigger than even maybe 15 gallons is even too big, but depending on the tree. But I think it's something that needs to be clarified, as does most of our ordinances all need a big cleanup. I would say that our town doesn't have the time or the staff right now to embark on that, but certainly, if some subcommittee on the Conservation Committee wanted to kind of try to understand what the various regulations are around trees in our ordinances, and that's part of the problem. They're spread out all over the place, and then, each decade someone decides to add a new regulation and they stick it in another spot. So it's hard for people to know what the requirements are. So at some point, we should have a nice tree regulation that would consider all the various issues and clarify it for people. So that, if you're taking out a tree illegally on your property, what do you have to do? If you have too many trees, what are your options? Whatever. And then if you're developing a new landscaping, a lot of those rules are written out, but maybe they need a clarification as well. But again, it's up to your time and
That-
everything.
So that was really helpful. Thank you for looking that up. But as you were talking through it, I wonder if one approach that wouldn't have us wading back into ordinance language would be to add a couple of sentences after, like at the end of our tree removal permit reports. Maybe it's check a box, yes or no. There is space for replanting. Does the Conservation Committee recommend replanting, yes or no? What are the species? And then we can have our standard recommendation about smaller trees establishing more quickly, that we support planting 15-gallon or.
Okay.
similar.
Christy Corley.
Oh, Christy, you have a comment? Christy?
Yes, just a minute. I'm going to read something that I thought was important. I think the trees on a hill are important. The anchoring action of tree roots prevents soil erosion by wind and water and improves soil structure, leading to better water and air retention, which is essential for supporting life. So I do think that trees hold hills and root systems. So I just think that needs to be written somewhere for water runoff as more building occurs on hills. Thank you.
Thank you. Good point. So coming back, so I think your suggestion is the most practical one. So we probably need a little subcommittee to work on that. Would you be prepared to be part of that subcommittee? Because you are the arborist. Do we need to go through a subcommittee? Could I just? No, could you want
write
to do it
something up and
yourself?
bring it to the
That'd be
next
great.
meeting?
Okay, your job. Thank you. Okay. There are no other hands. Okay, okay. So we got that done. the site permit checklist was in the packet. And I will send you probably tonight the Word version, because the packet, you can't do anything with the PDF version. And then please take that Word document I'll send you. And this is going forward, the template for site visits, and throw away the other one. Because otherwise, when I get it, I have to re-edit, because we want them to be objective and we want them to have the same logic, so that we are consistent in our reports.
May I ask a quick question on that? Photography. Do we have permission to take photos?
You just,
from-
you ask. We haven't had anybody who said no.
And for those of us who are photo challenged, do you have a workaround?
Well, we probably will not have, we don't want to make the work more difficult. And we have a lot of site visits. The thing is, what is happening in town is a lot that residents are now putting in piecemeal. They do, okay? And so it is very helpful for the town staff when we go out and we have some pictures, because we see, some heritage oaks and we take a picture, or we see there is no fence and we take a picture. And then maybe 6 months later, the other piecemeal application is coming in. And we actually do a really valuable service. It's the feedback I'm getting to town staff, if we have those pictures. And so you ask for permission. And if they say no, then don't take a picture, obviously. You're not happy with that answer?
No, I'm just telling you, Marianne, I can't do this.
Okay, that's fine.
And I apologize, and
Yeah.
you know that I
Yeah.
am, this is a techno, not.
But that's fine.
And so I'm just saying, if it's in, that this is mandatory in these reports.
You are not the only, first of all, it's not mandatory, and there is
Okay.
never
I
a
just-
single person on a site review. We always have 3 people. So
Okay.
let's make sure when you are on it that you have somebody, hopefully, who can take pictures. I think that's a solvable problem. And I understand what you're saying. I fully understand that. No, you're not. Yeah. Any other comments on this? And I think our site reviewers have gotten very, very good. Some are terrific. I can't write that good review that well, because I don't have the knowledge, but the town certainly very much appreciates it. All right. We're not going to discuss the tree permits. We never do. We already figured out the next meeting will be on November 25th at 7 o'clock. And unless there are any other questions, which don't seem to be, we'll adjourn the meeting. And thank you, everybody.